Hello YouTube. Today I am making another table selection video. So what I've done is I've opened up the maximum number of tables, something like 19 tables. It's the maximum you can observe. You can play 24. And I'm just trying to categorize these players. So one thing I do is I search the players, and if they're like this guy playing only one table and they're searchable, then I'll label them as a fish. Sometimes they end up labeled incorrectly, but that's no problem. You can, of course, always change the label if their statistics indicate a different style of play. And then the other thing I like to do is I look mostly for open limping, posting. You see this player here posted the big and small blinds. Also, he's from Greece, pretty good indication. And here, this guy open limped. We got this player, he open limped. This player, Cialan, open limped, but he another indication of reg or tight aggressive play. You'll see as soon as he dropped below $10, his stack auto added on. It's a pretty good indication that the player is a reg. And then the other thing you can do is just look at their actions over 5 or 6 hands. So Kenny raised, Kenny checked, Kenny raised, Kenny over limped a limper, Kenny folded, and Kenny raised. So he's only folded one hand out of 6, and that'll give me some indication. Let's take a look at Sky, folds, calls, folds, 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 calls. So probably a regular player. And again, it's no big deal if you label players incorrectly. Oh. Search these guys. Don't see anything. Take a look in the hands. Just move on to the next one. Usually this 6 folds in a row, I'll just label as a regular. One table searchable, and I'll take a look at Greeky here. Calls, raises, folds, raises, raises, folds, raises, raises, calls. So pretty active, but based on the name and the fact that all of his decisions were folds or raises, I'm going to assume that he's a regular, a loose aggressive regular, probably a pretty loose aggressive regular, or over this very small sample, he happened to get a few hands, which is another possibility. Another indication that this might be somebody you want to play against is stack size. Short stack, there's a tendency to be a recreational player. So you'll see I've got WHV94 labeled inaccurately. This is more of a tight passive, maybe tight aggressive. There's no pre-flop raising over 47 hands, which is a little peculiar, but post-flop aggression anyway. But the 28% VPIP means this guy isn't really somebody I want to play against when compared to, say, a 54% VPI player. And that's the important thing. These stats here for Thole Local, they're sort of halfway between Reg and Fish. I'll just leave him unknown, I guess. Which is basically what he still is at this point, and it's only 18 hands. So, I mean, I could label him Reg too. It's very unlikely, I think, with this sort of sample, that he's going to be a incredible. He's not going to be a whale at any rate. Yeah, I'll just label him a Reg. Another indication of a regular, somebody who's playing multiple tables. It's not a lock by any means. So another thing you should do is just check these stats on the players who are correctly or already labeled. Make sure they're correctly labeled. You'll see there's a pretty wide range for Reg. These three guys, pretty varying stacks. It doesn't really matter. The point is, they're not people you want to play against. He's too tight. He's too aggressive. He's too aggressive. And for example, 3 flush should actually be nit, right? Much tighter than tight aggressive. This guy could be a regular player. He's just loose enough, just aggressive enough. And sometimes, you know, from 3-handed games, you get stat inflation. So you should adjust for that. Let's take a look here at Nicholas. See if we can't. So it folds, 3 bets, calls, open limps, folds, folds, timed out. It's worth noting. And he's, I guess, sitting out here. Open limps, folds. So I'm gonna say, despite the 2 open limps, I'm just gonna label him a Reg. And let's take a look at Tama. Raises, folds, calls, folds, open limps, over limps, folds, small blind versus big blind open limp, folds, check versus button open limp. But raises. So I'm still going to label him a Reg. And this guy 1 table searchable. Another indication he's up to $30. So I mean, obviously a bad player can run good, but ceteris paribus, people have been winning money. It's not unreasonable to think they might be winning players. Well, let's take a look at Dia Poker. Folds. Open limps. Folds. Calls. Folds. Open limps. Folds. Raises. 05. Oh yeah. It's just tight enough. I'm gonna label him a regular also. 2 tables. Take the lazy way out and just label him a reg. This is usually an indication of a more recreational player when somebody is playing tournaments and cash games. But let's see, folds, 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 4 folds in a row, 5. And then small action, calls, calls. And sitting out. Folds, folds. So I think these stats aren't for him. They're for the player who was sitting there before him. I think he's just tight enough that I don't want to play with him. Just make sure all these stats are in order. Schwongsak. Sometimes the names are an indication too. Caspern. Checks. Folds. 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 One small versus big. Label him tight aggressive. These stats, even over a small sample, strongly indicate a regular player. VP, IP, and pre-flop raise in sync. Moderate aggression. And here it looks like Skrill. Well, I mean, this is reasonable, I guess, 36.9. Just the disconnect. But if his stats turn out that way in the long run, I change them to somewhat loose passive. And here we see, oh, we already knew that. Folds. We're looking at BAM here. Folds, folds, folds. Called once. Folds. Yeah, seems tight aggressive. Not searchable. It's an indication. Not a lock or anything. This guy open limped. One table searchable. One table searchable. And that's basically it. So I hope you enjoyed my table selection video, and good luck. May your big hands hold up.